Every Northern Hemisphere team starts to unravel.
You're one of us, Jake.
No, we're not.
It's South Africa, head and shoulders, and then it's France, and then I think the rest of us are a long way back.
They're like the All Black side from 211 to 215.
Come on, JK.
I'm serious.
Come on.
Mate, how many Guinnesses have you had today? You're kidding yourself.
It's a different animal if you play South Africa, so it's not that hard
There we
against
go.
All Blacks, but they did well.
Oh,
I
ma che
feel
cazzo
like
dici? Gli italiani sono stati bravissimi. Australiani abbiamo ammazzato. Oh, ma cosa dici, Australia stanchi? No? Abbiamo vinto noi.
Right, welcome to Rugby Rivals for yet again another week. And when there was a red card in the game, we all went at the same time, what will Victor think? So, Victor, what did you think?
I don't know why we always talk about red cards. Can't we just talk about the Springboks' best performance of the year so far? But yeah, on the red card, I definitely didn't think the outcome will be a straight red card, not a 20-minute red card. Again, so much open for debate. I think there's probably three different options. Certain people think only yellow card, certain people think red for 20 minutes, and then, of course, there's people that think, yeah, red card. Just for me, yes, there was a shoulder to the face. Yes, his arm was stuck, but is there mitigation factors? Yes, of course. I mean, the guy was tackled from behind, Ramos. He was on his knees. Even Lude Jager with his tackle, his own knees were touching the ground. So it wasn't that he was aiming at something. He was going for a low tackle, and all of a sudden, within 1 second, Ramos dropped about a meter. So I definitely thought there were mitigating factors. I thought they could have sent it to the bunker and let them have a look at that. But a straight red was a bit harsh for me.
If I ever go to the judiciary, I want you to be the guy in the judiciary making the decision for me.
I think
there will never be red
I
cards.
think, Ricardo, for me. Yeah. No, I think for me, it's what are the mitigating factors? I mean, this could be my ignorance, so I'll take the rap for this, but I didn't even know there was still a straight red, right? And in the moment, I think what happened was left his shoulder behind, right? So leaving your shoulder behind is dangerous. But what I want to do is I want to be a little bit more technical on what mitigating factors are. Like, I believe, let's just say I'm the human being here, right? If you bend that much and you hit someone's shoulder and head, then technically you're not right, right? If you're there, you're a bit more risk, but most of the players are aiming for that because they want to hit the ball. But if he's like that and the player falls, surely this guy's made the effort, right? Now, I believe on the weekend it should have been a yellow card and then a red 20 minutes, get replaced, because that's what we're getting used to. Was there any malice in it? I don't think so. He got his body right down. He's a big man. So for me, it's all the confusion. It's really difficult. Like, we posted something on Rivals and I shared it on my Insta. I've had 300 comments, completely split, right? Some saying, "What are you doing, Muppet? You Muppet, JK? Do those glasses of yours work?" But my opinion was, we need to understand what the mitigating factors are, right? And what Victor's saying, and I'll go to you now, Trimby. What Victor's saying is the opposition knees was on the ground. The tackler had come right down and he hit. Had he cocked his arm yet? No. So for me, it's the confusion of what mitigating factors are.
Well, I'm the same. I'm the same. I'd forgotten that proper long-term red card kind of was still in existence, because it was outlined before that that's only for, basically assaulting someone, punching someone. I would argue that's kind of what Lude Jager did. It is effectively an assault. The height thing, no problem with you guys, your rationale around that, because he can't get any lower, but that's kind of irrelevant. Once he tucks the arm, then I think they're saying, well, then you don't get any mitigation anymore because he's tucked the arm. It's always illegal is the language they use. I don't know if that's right or wrong, but that tackle looked horrific. I thought it looked really bad, and I think it's the type of one that we need to discourage strongly. And I don't think it's unreasonable that got whatever, more than 20 minutes anyway, a proper red card, old-fashioned proper red card.
Can I just jump in here, mate? Because you and I are in the States, right? And it's so fan-centric. Now, I don't disagree with you. I think it was dangerous. I think what we're getting used to is yellow card, go off, they take a bit of time looking at it, and then red card, someone else comes on, right? Because the fans are paying a whole lot of money. And I'll agree with Victor. I thought it was great rugby over the weekend, actually. So, there were some great games, exciting games. It was a really good game of rugby. The fans have paid to see 15 against 15, right? And so what if that had been a blowout? It wasn't, because the Springboks are so good now. But for me, it's like we're getting used to yellow, then upgraded to red. Just do that. Send them off, and then the TMO can go, righto, no mitigating factors, and then we can at least replace them.
The thing about the red card is the reason why we're getting rid of the long red card is because it ruins the game. But that red card, it didn't ruin the game. The game loosened up. The game became a different type of game, but it fundamentally did not ruin the game. So the spectators still got their money's worth on that occasion.
Well, Victor, tell us how good South Africa were.
Yeah, I must say, let's look past the red card. I think it was just fantastic. I mean, I look at this team and I think they can't surprise me more. They can't do better. And then they give a performance like this. I really believe this was a better performance than the one we saw in Wellington against the All Blacks. I mean, other guys came out in that second half. I mean, Malcolm Marx is just so unbelievable at the moment. And Jasper Wiese standing up. Sasha Feinberg moving to 15. Marnie coming on. Yes, there was a few mistakes. Probably not the best we've seen Sasha, but still at the right time, coming through and just dominating. And I actually thought that scrum, the second scrum, we got that big scrum, I think 30 minutes into the game, that just changed the game. All of a sudden, South Africa knew that the French can't stand up physically to them. And then they started controlling the collisions as well, and it was game over. But what a game by South Africa.
I agree. I thought it was huge. I think the rest of the world were looking on, just going, dreading the opportunity to play South Africa. Up until the weekend, I think maybe similar to you guys, I thought it's South Africa and France, and then the rest of us, it's South Africa, head and shoulders, and then it's France, and then I think the rest of us are a long way back. It's just South Africa are just incredible. That was a statement performance. It was unbelievable.
Speak for yourself, Trimby. You can speak for yourself. The rest of us. Come on,
You're
mate.
one of us. You're one of us, Jake.
No, we're not. No, we're not. We're not at all. I agree with the quality. I thought the quality, and look, last week I was pretty critical of the ref in Chicago, but I thought the refereeing over the weekend was really good from a spectacle point of view. I mean, I only saw the highlights of the Italian game and the highlights of the Irish game, but the other games I saw all the way through, and I thought they were, so the refs, when they get it right, our game's pretty damn good. And I thought the South African-French game lived up to what we thought it would be, and I don't disagree. I think, the Springboks are number one at the moment, and they're like the All Black side from 211 to 215. They just keep getting better and better and better. So yeah, can't take anything away from them at the moment.
What do you think of the All Blacks performance, JK?
I was really happy for a couple of reasons. I think that we are starting to blood some of these young guys, and I do believe you've got to be resilient. I thought our first half was really dominant. Then the Scottish came out in the second half and were very, very good. Started with a couple of errors in the second half. But what I liked was the composure when it was 17-all. And I think that if you're going to win a Grand Slam, you have to have a game like that where you're under the pump. Damian McKenzie was outstanding. That 50-20 he did, or 60-20 or whatever it's called, was unbelievable, got us down there. And then that miracle try was like unbelievable. But I was really happy for our locks, Victor. I think Josh Lord was outstanding. He's come through, he's been around a little while, but he's had a couple of injuries. I thought Fabian, I saw footwork from Fabian on the weekend, which means that this kid's really working hard on this game. Last weekend, he reminded me a little bit of Brodie Retallick. So I think our discipline let us down a wee bit, Ricardo. So 3 yellow cards, we got away with it, Trimby. Like you said, maybe I'm too old-fashioned. Maybe these red and yellow cards don't really matter in the game anymore. It just makes it for a better spectacle. But, a bit of discipline. We're going to have to play a whole lot better this week against England because I think they're going pretty well. But youngsters standing up, happy with it.
I think you need games like that, Jake. I think you're actually right. With tough games like this, pulling through, there's a few big injuries with the All Blacks. But I must say, I think we underrated the Scottish forwards. I thought they stood up really well. They were looking for that physical, confrontational game. And, when they got to the 22, the Scottish forwards were actually outstanding. We all know what the backline can do. And great performance by Scotland, and they really tested the All Blacks, and that's what you want. You want tough games like that, pull it through, and then the confidence come through. So I thought very good performance by the All Blacks, but I thought a very, very good performance by the Scottish forwards and Scottish team as well.
I thought for a second, Victor, even in complimenting Scotland, you were going to compliment the South African Scots. Find a way to pat yourself in the back.
No, I just say it's a different animal if you play South Africa, so it's not that hard against All Blacks, but they did well.
Yeah, I think Scotland have been kind of revving their engine over the last kind of few years, but they've never done it consistently. And I'd be really interested to see if that toughness, it's been a criticism of Edinburgh for a long time. Glasgow have been there occasionally, but they've never really put back-to-back big performances together for Scotland. They get off to a good win at the start of the Six Nations, then it kind of unravels a little bit. I'd be interested to see if they can back this up and kind of really double down on that toughness. That I agree, Victor, that's a new thing. Being 17-0 down to the All Blacks, every northern, in the past, JK, every Northern Hemisphere team starts to unravel, and then the All Blacks get stronger and stronger, and then they score a couple of tries towards the end. That's the model we've all got used to. And just seeing both ends of that, Scotland showing a little bit more resilience, a little bit more toughness, and then New Zealand really struggling to get that momentum in a game that they would have got in the past. It's the new world, and it's Northern Hemisphere coping with Southern. Well, not all Southern Hemisphere, but the All Blacks better than we used to.
I thought Japan were good for long periods of time too, though, Trimby. I thought they played some good.
Come on, JK.
I'm serious.
Come on.
I can't believe you guys come out and said, "Oh, you guys played badly." I thought they played bloody well. I'm serious.
You didn't even watch the Japan game, if that's what you're saying.
I watched the highlights. So I watched 15 minutes of it, and the highlight I saw, I thought Japan were good at times.
I think Farrell's nervous. I think Farrell kind of expected, it'll be a little bit rusty that first game in Chicago, but I think he thought a couple of games into it against Japan would kind of be a way to get the momentum back, the feel good back, but it was a little bit disjointed as well. I think he feels like, I think luckily for Ireland, Australia just are not quite there. I think they look a little bit tired. One or two guys who are kind of unavailable, injured, they're kind of having to go into their depth. And
ma che cazzo dici? Gli italiani sono stati bravissimi. Australiani abbiamo ammazzato. Oh, ma cosa dici? Australia stanchi? No, abbiamo vinto noi. What are you talking about, Trimby?
That makes more sense than normal.
The Italians won. The Italians won, brother. They kicked them.
That makes more sense. You're making more sense than normal.
The place is still partying. What a win. What a win.
Oh, that thing about Jake, I must say, talk about multiple teams, and he can sort of, Japan, Italy.
I think that was probably the performance of the weekend. The Italians were outstanding. They struggle in the Six Nations, comes out and beat the Australian side that everyone was thinking was on the comeback trail, but I'm worried that Australia is falling away again. I think Ireland in that first half wouldn't have been happy. Made a few changes, and I think that changes probably showed who needs to be in that number 10 jersey.
I think the biggest risk for you, Trimby, is you don't know what you're going to get with Australia now. I know we all got a bit of criticism about writing them off against the Lions, and then what we saw was a really huge improvement, but then they seem to be going backwards again. But the biggest risk is you don't know what you're going to get on the weekend. Apparently, Will Skelton's out which is a massive loss for them, right?
Yeah, he did his ankle again playing for La Rochelle. So, I mean, the Southern Hemisphere is sort of really probably ahead on the scorecard at the moment. Trimby, you guys are sort of just lagging a little bit behind. Fortunately, Italy came to your rescue. But the big game on this weekend, England versus the All Blacks. So we'll go to the unbiased people first. We'll leave you to last, JK. What do you think is going to happen at Twickenham? Because it's not a great place to lose, JK, is it, for the All Blacks? So,
I know.
Let's... did you never lose at Twickenham?
Not that I can remember, Ricardo.
Yeah, I was working for the team when they lost in '93, and it still hurts. So,
that's the tour you got.
What do you
me
think's going to happen, Victor?
Media manager. Is that the tour you got me dropped on as
Yeah,
media
probably.
manager? You and Sean Fitzpatrick had me dropped from the team. Is that the year? I'm over it though. I'm still not bitter about it. Don't worry about it.
Probably worse to lose against England than to Ireland. So, yeah, it's going to be a tough game. I think England's actually playing really good rugby at the moment. I think from the 4 games that the All Blacks need to win to get the Grand Slam, this is definitely going to be the toughest one. I think they know how they want to win, how they want to play. I liked actually, what's the guy that they played at 8 this weekend? Got the long surname. I thought he was outstanding. I don't know if they'll keep him against the All Blacks, but he was really outstanding. And yeah, they've got some depth there. They've got options at 10. It will be interesting to see who they pick at 10 as well. Will they go with Finn Smith? Will they go back to, what's his name again? George Ford. No, George Ford. But I hope they stick with Finn Smith. I just think he offers them more.
Trimby, can you come in and just explain how you'll be supporting the English as a Northern Hemisphere team?
I think we're all on the same page whenever it comes to England. I'd certainly not be supporting our Northern Hemisphere brothers at Twickenham. Immediately I'll switch across and become an All Blacks fan, just like everybody else, every other rugby fan in the world that didn't come from England. I kind of feel like New Zealand are just like quite close to clicking though. Like there's a lot of good stuff, a lot of really good rugby, and it feels like they've found their identity. Going back to what we were talking about, JK, feels like they're playing with width. There's some really nice moments, but they haven't been quite as clinical. They get to 17-0 up, and then you kind of just feel like they're going to kick on. They kind of take their foot off the gas a little bit. So the style of rugby they're playing, if you look at where Scotland were, Scotland gave away 4 penalties on the bounce. It felt like the dam is about to break. If they score there, maybe it will kick on, and it could be a completely different game. And it feels like if they up the pace and take England through that multi-phase, they could stretch them. You never know. It'll just be whatever tempo is set. If Borthwick gets into that kicking game, it'll set a different tempo that won't work for the All Blacks. They have to find a way to shift this English team around and threaten them.
Yeah, I agree. I think that there's been some really good stuff. There's been some of the young boys stepping up. I think for me, Borthwick's brought, I think, a DNA back to the English side. Like we talk about how South Africa play, and we've seen Rassie change that a wee bit to have a bit more of a balance. We know how Ireland have played. They're probably struggling a wee bit. I call it painting by numbers. They get so organised you can't get the ball off them. That's gone away a wee bit. We're the same. I think you've seen sparkles of how we want to play, and when we do, it's really great. And I think England have found their DNA, and so it is a competition of 2 DNAs. We need to run them round. We need to make sure that we're running them from right to left. But to do that, you need to get your error count down, and you also need to be really disciplined. And when you do need to kick it, it needs to be really effective so you can create that pressure. So for me, it's the Grand Slam. I agree with Victor. It's the Grand Slam in the making. No disrespect to Wales, but if we can get through this one, it's the massive one. I think Ireland, if we can get through this one at Twickenham's always hard to play. Jokes aside, Ricardo, it's a massive crowd. It's a great atmosphere. It's a great stadium to play at. So for me, I'm just really excited about it. I think there's, once again, some really great rugby coming up this weekend.
I don't think you can call it a Grand Slam if you don't play France, JK.
Yeah, that's probably because you live in Ireland and we live in New Zealand. You know, it's a Grand Slam, brother. Nice try, but it's a Grand Slam. All right.
Get yourself to Paris. Get yourself
Nice
to Paris
try.
if you want to win a Grand Slam.
Nice try, but nah, it's a Grand Slam. Of course, it's a Grand Slam. This goes way back in our history. Before France even got into the Six Nations, mate, we were doing Grand Slams. When you guys ignored them for 100 years, remember that?
That's like South Africa touring Australia and Fiji, and then coming home and calling it a Grand Slam.
Oh, yeah. Mate, how many Guinnesses have you had today? You're kidding yourself.
Can you explain that painting behind you, JK? We've had about as many questions about that as we have about the red card. Did you do it?
I don't have any rugby memorabilia in my house. And there's a beautiful woman artist here in Treviso. And so my wife commissioned off a photo for her to paint a rugby photo, but it was important that it didn't look like me. The photo was of me, and then she also painted a beautiful one in my lounge, which I'll show you next week, just of this beautiful, elegant lady standing there. So, yeah, it's sort of only rugby thing I've got in my house.
Except for all those jerseys that you showed us the other time.
I know that's in the office. That's in the other part of the house. That's no one goes in there.
That's still in the house.
They're all in boxes.
Still in the house.
They're all in boxes, and I never really did anything with them. And then once again, my wife, when I came home once, had taken them out and put them into that stand. So, yeah.
So your wife got a picture of you playing rugby and asked an artist to draw that, but not make it look like you. Can you make this look like Victor Matfield?
See, even some hair.
Thanks for being able to think about that.
Take the glasses off.
Yeah.
Of course, the two World Cups.
I don't like you guys.
Ding, 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 ding. Finally.
Yeah.
Finally.
Do you have in your house, Victor, do you have a shrine to those World Cups?
I've got a few trophies. So I just moved out. So my old house, all three Super Rugby titles, little trophies were there, one little World Cup. But yeah, I moved house. I'm still redoing my bar area. Once that is up, I'll show you the nice trophies there in the house. I'm not hiding them. JK, did you win a World Cup? Oh, you won one. You did win one. 87, huh?
Yeah, you guys, while you're at it, Victor, why don't you remind us that South Africa wasn't there? Because that's what you normally do. But we'll take the other.
That's definitely the only reason. That was probably the only reason why you won one.
Trimby, can you just sit out of this conversation?
Amateur World Cups don't count.
Okay, was Ireland at that 87 World Cup? Did they make the semis?
We'll leave the excuses for this week, and we'll look forward to some excuses next week after a good round of rugby. Thanks very much. We'll everyone can pitch in and get a new modem for Victor, so we can get his internet working. That's Rugby Rivals
next week
for another week.